All right, one characteristic of polynomial functions is where is the function increasing and where is the function decreasing. So this is an explanation here of how you're going to figure that out. Now, first of all, it says from left to right, and that's very important that when we look at these examples or when you go to look at what you have for your homework, then you do have to look at the graph from its left side to its right side, or you're not going to get the right answer. And as you look at it from left to right, if the graph is going up, then that's going to be a section that's increasing. Again, as you're looking from left to right, if the graph is going down, then that's going to be a section that's decreasing. So that should be pretty easy for you to remember, because if it's going up, it's increasing. If it's going down, it's decreasing. Now, the going up and the going down is basically like going up a hill or going down a hill, okay? And you'll understand exactly what that means when we look at a picture. Now, the other thing that you've got to remember is when you're describing what section of the graph is increasing or what section of the graph is decreasing, you're going to have to use the x values that you have on your graph to describe this. Do not use your y values like when you're looking at a specific point. You need to know just the x value of that point. All right, so here's the example we're going to look at. So you need to take a second and sketch this off. Now, what I would suggest, of course, there's many points that you have on this graph, but I've only marked 2 of them because these are the only 2 that you actually need to know for sure to be able to do this, is this point and this point. So what I'm going to do, because I'm only going to have to use x values, right beside each one of these points, I'm going to go ahead and write down what the x coordinate is for that particular point. So for this particular point, the x value is -2. And for this point, the x value is 0. So when I'm describing my intervals, I'm only going to be able to use the -2 and the 0. Okay. So as you look at this, remember, from the left to the right. So it would be just like you're tracing the graph. So I've got myself a highlighter here, just so you'll see what I mean by tracing. I mean, just start on the left, and you're going to start tracing this. And this would be a portion of the graph in which I'm going down. I mean, my highlighter is having to move down as I'm going across this portion, okay? So this section that I have highlighted is going to be a section that is decreasing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and write down what I've known so far. Okay. Now, I started on the left. Now, here's what's confusing for you sometimes. It actually doesn't matter whether this is pointing up or whether it's pointing down. It's the fact that I started at the left, and this end of your x-axis, because remember, you're only using x values to describe this. This end of your x-axis is referred to, remember, as -infinity. So my decreasing is going to start at -infinity, and it's going to decrease through this whole portion that I've highlighted all the way down to this point that's at -2. So you would say that you have decreased from -infinity to -2, okay? Now, if I keep tracing, so let me start right here where I left off. So I'm going to start at this point, and I'm going to start tracing this portion of the graph. But this portion of the graph, I'm tracing up. I'm going up a hill. So if you're tracing a portion that goes up, then that means that has to be a portion that's increasing. So that would start at this point. So it starts at the -2, and it increased through this whole section until I got here at the top at the 0. So it increased from -2 to 0, okay? Now, once I leave this point, I actually start going back down. And then, of course, I'm just going to continue at this point to go down forever because this graph just keeps going down forever. So I've switched back over to a section that's going down, which means decreasing. So back up here on decreasing, you can just put a comma, semicolon, whatever you want to, you know, just to put a separation right here. But it decreased then from the 0 to. Now, it is going down forever, but remember we're looking at this from the left to the right. So I'm at the right end of my x-axis, and the right end of my x-axis we refer to as positive infinity. So it's going to be 0 to positive infinity. So this would be your intervals of your increase and your decrease. Okay, so just remember, start on the left, trace it to the right, and at any point that you're going up a hill, you're increasing. At any point that you're going down a hill, then you're decreasing, okay?